Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know I've been really excited for this. This was one of my most anticipated figures of the year from one of the best werewolf movies ever made, and I still can't believe that NECA actually went ahead and brought us a ultimate werewolf figure from The Howling. This is just a dream come true for me, and I mean this is like them doing a Bad Moon werewolf or a Dog Soldiers werewolf. They've already done American Werewolf in London, now they've done The Howling. I wonder what's next. They've also done the original classic Wolfman. We have a very generous amount of head sculpts in here. 3 of them. And they all look fantastic. One of them with an articulated jaw, some spare hands, and a little plastic kind of base stand to hold him up, because he's going to be difficult to stand because of the nature of the leg design for these particular werewolves. So I've got 2 of these ordered from Big Bad Toy Store, but they haven't arrived yet, so I decided to just look on AliExpress and get one, here quicker. The box got pretty bashed up, but that's okay. Like I say, I've got 2 more coming, so I'll have 3 in total, so I can use all 3 head sculpts. So later on, once I have all 3 of them, I'll do another video showing you them all together, because I think it's cool to see them as a pack. But drop a like on this video for me, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at DKnight333. Enjoy the review. And if you're into The Howling, folks, check out the custom 1/6 scale Eddie Quist Howling Werewolf that I have in the collection. I reviewed this on the channel, done showcase videos, all kinds of stuff. So check it out, it's well worth looking at. Got a second head sculpt there as well. And a fair bit of horror stuff if you're not familiar with the channel. Definitely, it's very messy, these shelves at the moment, I need to tidy up. There's a lot of cool stuff here, but definitely check out Eddie. It was made by David Eason on Instagram, and this is an incredibly accurate custom figure. Alright, the werewolf is free from its packaging and standing up nicely using the stand that they provide with it. So that's good to know, because he's going to be difficult to stand without that. It's going to be tricky. But because they give you these different kind of style hands, like these ones in the middle have very long, kind of thin fingers. You can maybe imagine that's Eddie, or maybe Marsha, the sister, when she turns. But these different kind of thickness and length of fingers, if you get multiple of them, you can kind of set them up like the family. Like Eddie, his brother, and Marsha. Or maybe you want to imagine it's someone else from the Connolly in the movie. Make no mistake, these are some of the fiercest, most evil werewolves ever put on film. And I've said it before in other videos, but in case you're new, the thing I love about the werewolves in The Howling and the werewolves in Dog Soldiers is when the person turns, they don't black out, and then the next day when they wake up, they don't remember anything about what they did. The werewolves in The Howling, they can turn whenever they want, daytime, nighttime, and the person who turns is still in control and present when they are in wolf form. So for a character like Eddie Quist, Eddie the Mangler, who was a serial killer psychopath who happened to be a werewolf as well, he seemed to really enjoy just putting absolute terror into his victims. And like the scene with Karen when he corners her with the gurney in the office, he transforms. It takes a long time, but he's doing that on purpose. They can change a lot quicker than that. He wanted to scare her as much as possible, and that's why he took as long as he did to change. The reason she didn't run away, well, the reasons are many. Would you really want to try and run past something like that as it's happening? Because he's going to grab you. Maybe she was frozen with fear, in shock. I think it's an incredible film. And Rob Bottin, who was like 21 when he did all the effects, that is insane. I just watched that transformation scene every now and then, and I just can't believe how young he was when he achieved that. Really amazing work. And I love the soundtrack to the movie, the score. I think it's a film that just maintains this kind of feeling of tension and fret from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, even though there's quite sort of comedic moments at times, because it's a Joe Dante movie. But that's what makes the scary part so effective, because you kind of put your guard down when you find yourself amused by something and then something horrific happens. But I think this movie has a really dreamlike quality to it, And it's very rare in movies, but I do feel that The Howling has that. It's got a kind of like just a dream feel to it, the look of it, you know, the sound of it, the way it all just plays out. It's like a bad dream, a very bad dream. And that big transformation scene in front of Karen with Eddie Quist, you can tell he's kind of enjoying it as well, and it must take some kind of sick individual to enjoy going through that. You can hear all his bones snapping and breaking, and his muscles are pulling apart, and his face is deforming and reforming and just breaking down, and he's enjoying every second of it from the looks of things. Really, really creepy. Okay, I've borrowed the diorama from the 1/12 scale Pumpkinhead by Syndicate Collectibles because I knew that it would look nice for some photography with the NECA Howling Werewolf. And you got backdrop there with the moon. This looks very creepy, so that's going to come in handy. My little photo sessions that I'm doing in between takes here. Check out all the pictures on Instagram. I switched out to the articulated jaw head sculpt with the blood around the mouth, and I switched out the hands to the long thin fingers, and he's going. I had to stuff his toes under that plank of wood there to keep him standing up. How cheeky a maneuver was this though, to just stick the spare heads kind of bursting through the wood there, just like at the end when they're trapped in the barn. That's just the spare heads just kind of wedged in the gaps. I know that one's a bit obvious, but if you angle it just right, looks like there's two of them. And I will have another two of them here, so I'll have to get this diorama out again when the other two werewolves arrive. But you got the Howling plaque here, which I think I got off Etsy or something like that. Got a few different types of that kind of thing lying around. They're very handy. But this just looks amazing. Really terrifying image. You know, imagine you're cornered. There's no way out. Well, this head sculpt with the articulated jaw and the blood is definitely my favourite. I mean, they really, really nailed the look of these werewolves. I mean, the ears are perfect, the expression, the fierceness, the evil look in the eyes. It's all here. Excellent job by NECA. And I've been getting lucky getting him to stand up. Or her, if it's Marsha, we're not sure. I don't really feel like I've got Eddie in front of me right now. I guess that's because I got my 1/6 scale custom and I'm so used to looking at that, but this could be Eddie. He's got those long nasty fingers like when he was transforming. It was a hell of a scene. I love the figure, folks. I think it looks amazing. And there's plenty of reviews out on YouTube. I've been watching them, and a lot of folks are happy. And let's hope that this sells well and we get more werewolves for more movies. I really want Dog Soldiers, Bad Moon, Silver Bullet, and a whole bunch of others. You know, the Wolfman from Monster Squad would be awesome. But let me know what werewolves you want to see. I mean, my favorite werewolf movie, as I've said before on the channel, is Dog Soldiers. That's my favorite horror movie of all time. If you haven't seen Dog Soldiers, go out your way to see it because it's my favorite werewolf movie for a reason. But The Howling, sometimes I think The Howling could be number one. You know, like I said, it's a totally unique movie. It has that dreamlike feel, that tension that never goes away, kind of like The Exorcist. You know, even when there's nothing creepy happening, it still feels creepy. That's what The Howling has. And the design of the werewolves is my favorite. The Howling has my favorite werewolves. And I just love, you know, the biped walking around on its hind legs look. I think it's just something so creepy about it. I do love the Kessler Wolf from American Werewolf in London as well. It's in my top 3. I'd say Dog Soldiers number 1, Howling number 2. Pretty much tied with American Werewolf in London, The Howling. You know, I go back and forth, but at the end of the day, these werewolves are my favourite ever put on screen. That scene in the office when he takes the file out of her hand, that whole sequence is the best werewolf scene of all time. Forget transformations. I mean, I love this transformation in this movie as well. Maybe a little more than the American Werewolf one. There's just something more creepy and dark about it, like he's enjoying the transformation and how long he's drawing it out to scare her, and there's so many kind of psychological parts to it, as well as the visual things you're seeing, the sounds you're hearing. It's likely never to be seen again. We've got the Robert Edgar's Werewolf movie coming next year, is it? So I'm hoping that's going to be like a real scary werewolf movie. I was watching Joe Rogan clip, you've probably seen it as well, it's kind of going viral, where they're talking about werewolf movies with one of his recent guests, and he says there hasn't been a good werewolf movie since American Werewolf in London. So the guy either hasn't seen Dog Soldiers, or I don't know what's going on there, but you know, if someone knows Mr. Rogan, you know, get him to watch Dog Soldiers. Because that was the last really, really good top tier werewolf movie. There's been some good ones, I like Howl, the one with the people on the train, that's good. I mean, I wasn't crazy about the werewolf design, but the film, you know, it kept you interested from the moment it started, and that was a good one. I love Silver Bullet, and you know, all those classic ones from the 80s. Wolfen, The Beast Must Die is another one I remember liking when I was younger, and I'm probably forgetting some as well, but yes, The Howling, and its many sequels, but the first one is the very best one. Here is the Howling NECA Werewolf next to a NECA Ultimate Halloween Ends Michael Myers figures. So they're both kind of 7-inch scale Ultimate figures by the same company. Have got the werewolf's knees pretty bent, but you can see he towers over the Myers. The shape would run. It'd be best to run, you know, against one of these absolute demonic, terrifying creatures. I need to read the book, The Howling. I think it's a 3-part thing, but I need to get my hands on the Howling book because I'm very keen to find out more. All the sculpt work is fantastic, really nicely detailed. There's a really nice layered system to the neck for ultimate movement. You can get him howling all the way up at the moon. And got good articulation in the wrists, the arms, the waist, the legs. Good solid joints. I mean, it is not easy to get him to stand up. Very difficult. That's why they give you the stand, but you might have some spare, maybe 1/12 scale figure stands that kind of clamp around the waist and allow for a little bit more movement. I might see what I have lying around, but at least NECA gave you stands with these because you really do need them, so I do appreciate that. Get a look at it on the rotating base. It's one of the best figures I think NECA have ever made. I know it's a right pain in the butt to get it to stand up, but apart from that, man, I mean, just visually and what this represents finally in an action figure that, you know, most folks can afford. You know, I think it's about 50 something, 60, because he's a bit bigger than your average Ultimate NECA figure, but yeah, I think he's definitely worth it, or she, whichever one it is. I love it, and I kind of want to hold back a little bit on all the things I want to say until I get the other two, because I really intended to do this review with more than one werewolf. So I'm still, you know, reviewing it now for you, but I will be coming back once I get the other ones, and I'll go a little bit more in depth for you. But I'll cover everything here in this review. But I think you already know, this is a definite recommend from me. Yeah, this is a beautiful thing to finally see, made by NECA, thank goodness. And I hope it's not the last werewolf we see. I'm sure it won't be. Man, can you imagine if these things were actually out there? I said it before, I say it again. Every time, I'm a 44-year-old man now. But every time I see the full moon in the sky, you know what I think about. A little part of me thinks, I don't like the look of that. Well, my eyes don't seem too bad at all on the articulated jaw head sculpt. The pupils seem to be where they're supposed to be, so I'm happy about that. I'll check the other two in a minute. Love the detail on the teeth with the blood stains, and you can really see the individual teeth with this head sculpt. You know, on the other two, there isn't really anything there to separate the teeth, but here you have the blood, and it really just creates more detail and more realism to look at. But I love the sculpt, man, the shape of everything. And there's quite a few shots in the movie where you kind of see the side profile of the werewolf's head kind of looking up, whether it's in pain at the time or howling, and NECA just captured that side profile so well. Let me see if I can get that for you. Yeah, kind of like that. But I saw someone in a video or a post somewhere, they basically just had the shadow on the wall of the head looking up like this, and you could just tell in an instant exactly which werewolf it was and what movie it was from. So it just goes to show how accurate the sculpt is and the shape and proportions of everything. Now, because of the excellent neck articulation, he's facing forward, but you can turn the head to either side quite easily, which is really nice to be able to do. I've even seen people put this figure on all fours like a quadruped werewolf, like the Kessler wolf. It can be done. I won't be doing that because I don't imagine them ever running like that in the movie. That's just a me thing. And this is with the head down as far as it will look down, and it looks very intimidating. I mean, this is just such an incredible werewolf figure, folks. I'm definitely going to have to revisit the whole top 10 werewolf figures you can buy video thing. I did that about a year ago. Check that out. But now that this has arrived, and a couple of other editions, I'm really going to have to revisit that whole thing, because this is a contender for best werewolf figure ever made. Look at that. That is perfect to the Howling. Incredible. I absolutely adore it. I love it. I'm glad I got another two coming. I wanted to leave one boxed, but yeah, I think I can. Do I need three on display? I can keep two out on display and one boxed, possibly. I'll probably just turn them all loose. Give you triple threat action in the next video. We'll see. You can't have enough of these. This is a significant release from the company. Okay, here is the NECA Ultimate Howling Werewolf next to the NECA Ultimate Kessler Wolf from American Werewolf in London. Very similar, and I knew it would be. I knew the sculpt on this and the nice stiff joints, how well thought out it was. I knew that was all going to translate over very, very well to the biped werewolf from the Howling, and it's just the way I hoped it would be. So these two complement each other extremely well. Here is the Sota Toys, long gone, sold out, goes for silly money on eBay now. This is the Dog Soldiers Sota Toys werewolf figure. He doesn't have much articulation. His arms move, his head turns, the waist turns, but he's kind of a statue figure with moving parts. There's my three favorite werewolf movies. NECA, you're never going to see this, I know that, but if anyone does from that company, I would love, and I know many people would love, a Dog Soldiers Ultimate NECA werewolf figure. So that would just be incredible. And there you go, folks. Look at those three beauties right there. Werewolves in dog soldiers, very intelligent, kind of hunt like a pack, but also like the werewolves from The Howling, the person inside is still present and controlling things. We don't know exactly to what extent once this thing takes over their body. We don't know how much of them is there and how much of the wolf is in control, if it's a battle or if it's a union of, whatever. But it's just interesting to think about with those kind of movies where, it's also, interesting to see David Kessler struggling with the morning after, seeing the newspapers, hearing it on the radio, the TV, what happened, and he's piecing it together. I mean, that is definitely entertaining to see in a film as well. And there's just something really creepy about these kind of werewolves. Because there's that scene in Dog Soldiers where the first soldier who gets taken by the werewolves gets pulled out the window and you assume he's dead. And then about 20 minutes later they find him in the barn with the werewolf. He's still alive, but he's really torn up. But they didn't kill it. They didn't kill him. They were just, this one werewolf that had him in the barn for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It didn't kill him. It just, I don't know, man. It was just holding him and scaring him and slowly, just taking him apart. It was quite a dark scene that not a lot of people talk about, but that's one of the moments in the movie where I often wonder what was going on in that barn and why. Creepy, very creepy. Don't even get me started on Eddie Quest. No sir. I love werewolf movies. We are due a good one. We are due another good movie. I hope it's soon. Here is the NECA Ultimate Howling Werewolf next to a 1/6 scale figure. This is the InArt prototype Superman, which I was very lucky to get my hands on recently to do a review on the channel. I think there's about 2 of these in existence in the world right now. I reviewed it recently on the channel. Check that out. Justin from Justin's Collection reviewed it as well. Check his one out. And yeah, I might as well use it while it's here. It won't be here for long. So there it is next to the Howling Werewolf. These hands are awesome. Really creepy looking. That bit in the transformation scene where his hand kind of just drops down and starts going like that with the fingers, it's just so creepy. And these hands represent that look very well. But we also have the more kind of shorter fingered, slightly more kind of stumpy look, which is more like the suit in the scene in the office when he's swiping at her and she's trying to get away. Not Karen, what's the other lady's name? I forget. Journalist or reporter, and she's in the office and Eddie takes the file from her and starts swiping at her. And these hands kind of remind me more of when the suit's being worn, like when his brother is coming after her in the cabin, his house or whatever, and she chops his arm off. They remind me a little bit more of those kind of looks. But yeah, these long kind of thin fingers, that is so creepy looking. So amazing job with the hands. Really, really nice. And that's the nice thing about having multiples, because I want to use all these different hands, and I can do that once I get the other 2. Ugh, that is awesome. Creepy. It does read quite brown. It should be grey, like my friend David Eason, who made the custom Howling 1/6 werewolf. I mean, it looks grey here and then suddenly turns brown around the brow area. But I mean, it's kind of greyish brown. It's alright for me. I thought maybe I'd have to dry brush it more grey, and maybe I can do that with one of them because I've got more than one coming. But beautiful sculpt, look at it. Absolutely stunning. Let's get the closed mouth sculpt. I might have to do a black wash on these, just on the front teeth, to get the definition between the teeth at the front a little bit more obvious. How are my eyes on this one? Let me see. Yeah, these eyes are a little bit all over the place from what I can tell. But yeah, once I get the other ones, I might dry brush one of them a bit more grey. The articulated mouth head sculpt seems to have a seam above the eye there, like a little line going around in a circle above the eye. And the other head sculpts don't seem to have that seam there, which is nice. But the articulated jaw one does have a little seam above the eye. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my final thoughts and a score out of 10, folks. 10 out of 10. Absolute must have. It's not NECA's fault that the legs in the movie were designed like this and it's a hard figure to stand up. Those legs in the film look super creepy whenever you see it walking. So I wouldn't change a thing. I think this original design from the film is absolutely classic and my favourite werewolf design from any film. NECA have done an amazing job bringing it to life in an action figure form that everyone can own. And yeah, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend it. Looking forward to seeing people like Toys of Arkham get their hands on this and do a review. And loads of other guys out there. You know, the Werewolf gang. I've made a big playlist on the channel of all my werewolf video. There's plenty of videos on the channel, but it's easy to find on the playlist, so check that out. And this video will be joining that, and I'll, like I said, once the other two show up, I'll bring you a big howling triple threat awesome kind of revisit review thing. So I hope you enjoyed it, folks. 10 out of 10. Brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at Dino. See you soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.